Are the Utah Jazz tanking? Well, I again will just say no. That win over Sacramento the other night was absolutely scintillating. And the best part about it was the young guys. And it's guys like Ochai Agbaji for the Utah Jazz that I'm really excited about. Now, I also think that you've got to get Lauri Markkanen on the floor with these guys. I think it's really important that guys like Jordan Clarkson, Lauri Markkanen play with this group of guys. If Jordan Clarkson is this valuable commodity that you've got to have that you wouldn't trade, Jake, don't you have to have him on the floor?
Yeah, I think you got to have him on the floor. I think that, chemistry for this team has always been, a huge thing or lack of a thing, because ultimately when these guys play together, they play better, right? When they have the chemistry, when they can build together, when they can be in the flow for 5, 6, 7, 10 games in a row, you see that they typically play better, more consistent basketball. But I think over the last probably, 20 games or so, you've been dealing with injuries. And yeah, I think everyone wants to talk about the fact that, that these guys aren't in a hurry to get back. They're not. And that's okay. I don't think that they should be criticized for it, because ultimately you're not winning a championship this year, but that also doesn't mean they're tanking. I think they want to take their time with injuries. They want to make sure that guys are 100% and as healthy as one could possibly be at this stage in the season, because I don't buy that anyone's 100% at this time of year, but as close to 100% as you could possibly be before you come back. Lauri's coming back. JC's dealing with this hand thing. Like, it just is what it is. But I do think, Lauri getting in the mix with the THTs, the Chris Dunns, even Walker Kessler, I would say. I mean, I know they've got floor time together, but Walker Kessler is becoming a force. And I think that, the chemistry between guys who are going to be here should be the priority. So, like, I think Chris Dunn will make it. I think he will be here next year. It goes without saying Lauri and Walker are going to be here next year. I don't know if JC is going to be here next year. I don't know if Colin Sexton is going to be here next year because of the injury stuff. I'm not I know that most people say, hey, they're pleased with him, but I'm not pleased with him. I'm not pleased with all the injuries he suffered. So I'm curious how Danny Ainge will look at a guy like Colin Sexton. But the point still remains, you need Lauri Markkanen, right, who right now is your number one. You need your number one to be out there with the guys he's going to be out there with in the long term. Because next year, now we get expectations starting to creep in, right? Next year,
for sure.
Next year, it's not going to be good enough to be like, oh yeah, hey, if we're the 10th seed, we're good. No, that's not going to work next year. Next year, you need to be pushing for a full share playoff spot, not being in the play-in. So that's why I say everything right now that you get on the floor all the way through the end of the season, hopefully you make it into one playoff series. If you can do that, I think you've had a really successful season, and I think you've maximized the first season of this build.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting to see how all this plays out, and I think that when you have this level of young talent, of course you want to see them play. But man, I'm going to live and die on this Jordan Clarkson thing. I think it is. By the way, he's out again tonight with this finger injury.
After the street closed,
I think it's a big story. I really do. The Great Dane says, I can't wait to see them play tonight. Is Markkanen coming back tonight? Lauri Markkanen is available tonight,
yeah,
by the way.
He's in the lineup.
I think that is a big deal. No doubt about it. Drethman says Colin Sexton is the best at fixing rotary engines. Apparently, because he ain't the best at playing basketball. Ruff's official, my guy, what's up? Luka averages 33 points a game. He's a stud. The guy's absolutely a stud. By the way, he's back tonight too.
Yeah.
How good are the Dallas Mavericks?
Yeah, I think it's tough to say. I think most people generally agree that they're not championship good, and that's only because of the defensive side. I think offensively, they obviously can compete with anybody, but they just have so much trouble stopping anyone. And I think that's the trouble. Like, you look at, again, this epic debate about MVP. Like, Joel's defense is what I think makes him one of the strongest MVP candidates out there. Yeah, I do think he's the MVP. Like, I look at Walker Kessler. Like, Walker Kessler's ability to be I think he's 2.5 times to the plus on blocks over the next closest rookie. Like, the guy is just performing, and I think a lot of those, even against Sacramento, like a lot of those
that
blocks,
left-handed block, come on,
like a lot of these blocks, that left-handed block, like you look at this guy Justin Fan, this is somebody who's in the sports book world talking about the fact that Walker Kessler's got 155 blocks in about 1,500 minutes, and Gobert's got 86 blocks in 1,800 minutes. Like the idea
that is insane.
Like the idea that Kessler has twice as many blocks in 300 fewer minutes is wild to me. And the idea, and you see the bottom line there, right? Jazz turned Gobert into Kessler 5 first, a first-round swap, and THT. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think David Fizdale and Danny Ainge deserve a lot of credit because without those guys, these tweets don't exist. We don't get to see what Walker's turning into. And look, I have been adamant that Walker Kessler needs to get his ass in the weight room and bulk up a little bit because he's not still able to stand on the block and say, hey, you're not going through me. And I think defensively, that's the only thing he lacks. He has everything else that you could want.
Should the Jazz want Damian Lillard? And this is something I think I tweet about with somebody every day, it feels like. Should the Utah Jazz want Damian Lillard? Man, I don't think you do. I don't think you do because that's a guy, if you're a Dame Lillard fan, you want that guy to go and win a championship. I don't think you want Damian Lillard on your team that's rebuilding, that's fighting for young guy minutes. Like, I don't think you want that. Mm-hmm. I think what you want is Damian Lillard to go win a championship. And I know you're going to kill me for saying this, but the Lakers, the Celtics, the Knicks, that's where Damian Lillard belongs.
Yeah.
He doesn't belong in Utah. He isn't a fit here for where this team is developmentally
what are you
speaking.
talking about, man?
But in all seriousness, like, is Damian Lillard a guy that you want on your team? Of course. But is the Utah Jazz where they currently are? Are the Jazz where they currently are a fit for Dame? I don't think so, Jake.
No, I don't think he's a fit for the Jazz because of his age. It's that simple. I think that, is he a wonderful basketball player? Yeah, but there's a reason why you just saw him come out in the media at that press conference. I think yesterday it was, might have been the day before, talking about the fact that he's not here for we're building for next year.
Yeah.
He's not, he straight up said that. And I think, Dame, I love the guy. I love what he did to Paul George. I love what he's done over his career. I love, his game. Like, he's one of my favorite players. But the reality is he's got to be selfish now. And I think when you look at the Utah Jazz, their timeline doesn't match his timeline. And by the way, I think nobody wants to admit that the Jazz can't just add anybody at this point. You have to understand, as you climb, as you get further into the rabbit hole, if you will, of building a championship roster,
the rabbit hole.
Each time you add somebody, you have to consider what effect does that guy have on the room? What effect, both negative and positive, does he bring to the group? Because right now, what I'm hearing out of everybody is, hey, I love this team. Everything's great. We're awesome. Like, everyone's working hard. It's amazing. The last thing you need out of this group is a malcontent, which is why Russell Westbrook is a Clipper, not a Utah Jazz. Like, Jazz, man, that's so when we talk about Dame or any Jaylen Brown or any of these other stars, I think you really got to take that into consideration.
No, I agree with that 100%. I think it's incredibly important. I do. Mike M says, love Dame Dalla. He's staying in Portland. He hates the idea of super teams. Well, if you listen to him talk lately, I don't know that he likes super teams, but I feel pretty strongly that he would not hate a move.
I think that Damian Lillard dislikes not winning a championship more than he dislikes super teams.
I just don't know how, if you're Dame, you go to bed every night satisfied. Because there's no, like, he can score 50 and they can win, and he knows it's not going to help his legacy.
Yep.
Because they're not ultimately going to win a championship, and that's what your legacy's built on. But see, I'm with McKenna Tech Dan. I'm a hard pass on Dame here.
Yeah, dude.
Right now, Damian Lillard should play for the Lakers.
Yeah.
That's the next place he belongs, with the Lakers. He needs that leverage, in my opinion. I know you're all gonna riot over that, but he belongs with the Lakers. Tom, a member, says, I love him at Weber State. Would love to see him come back to Utah. The culture he could help the Jazz create would be awesome for the future of the Jazz. But why would he do that?
I think that's 3 to 5 years ago he'd be that guy. I think that, like, you're not wrong about that, Tom, but I think what you're misinformed on is his age. He's too old to spend time building culture. He needs to step into a culture that's already built and be the guy that puts him over the top. He needs to be what Anthony Davis has never been, which is clutch. That's the thing.
Yep, I agree. Keaton Critchlow says the player development this year has been amazing.
Yes, it has.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. And Jet Wayman, you're exactly right. David Fizdale so far has been amazing.
I mean, hasn't Fizdale been the epitome of you never see him, but you see him everywhere?
Absolutely.
Right? Like you never see him. You never see his face. But his stamp is all over the court. It's very clear.
And Mike M., this is another one I've heard a lot about. Dame to the Bucks. I mean, now that's not going to happen this year, obviously, but he is a phenomenal fit in that system. There's no doubt about that. And the space that he would provide or be provided would be lethal.
Yeah.
They would be absolutely lethal. But the question is, what do you have to give to get? Because that's not going to be easy, in my opinion. Big Dog O-Town, what's up, my guy? Good to see you. We need Lauri playing the 3 spot. Who's a good 4 coming out of this upcoming draft? There's a lot of I think the bigger question is, if Walker's at the 5, I still maintain the power forward's a huge hole on this roster.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is. But if you look at where they are, I think that's the position you're going to spend money on. I think they're going to go and buy a power forward.
Right.
In my opinion. I don't know what you think, and I don't know who's blowing up my phone right now. But I don't know what you guys think, but I think 4 is a position they'll spend money on.
Yeah, I think the thing here is balance. Like you have some nice little synergy happening with Walker Kessler and Chris Dunn. I feel like when those two guys play together, you get some nice production. But I think the trouble is that Walker Kessler is not he's not a physical, look forward to it screen setter the way Rudy was. Rudy Gobert was a guy who really wanted to, take you to the woodshed on his screens. And that paid big benefits and dividends to the Mike Conleys of the world, right? That paid big dividends to the ball handler. And I think, when I look at the power forward position on this team, I think they need a guy that's physical and can set screens and is willing to beat that guy up a little bit. Because Walker, for everything that he is, he's not this mean physical guy. That's just not who he is.
Not yet, and I hope he can develop that. I think that's awfully difficult.
Yeah.
But probably the Walker kid out of Houston is probably going to be the best power forward. I don't know, he's a 3-4 combo guy probably.
Yeah.
But I think if he winds up on your roster, you can't miss.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I truly do. But there's a lot of guys in this draft.
Yes.
That you can make work.
Yeah.
There's just no doubt about that. It's simply a matter of who do you feel like fits best in your system, and who do you feel like you see your system developing the most. Because I don't think anymore that it's this thing where you're like, we got to do X, Y, and Z.
Facts.
I mean, if the thing that you worry about with who's a developmental team, OKC. You look at Josh Giddey. Does SGA make Josh Giddey a better player? Arguably, he does. Does Shai Gilgeous-Alexander make Giddey and Chet Walker or Chet Holmgren make Chet Holmgren a better player?
Yeah, I think that,
I don't know about that. Because there's only so many touches go around on that team. And then, by the way, where does Lou Dort fit into that threesome?
He fits in on defense. That's where he fits in.
He does, but Lou Dort's a guy that shoots a lot.
Yeah.
He's a guy that wants to shoot a lot.
I think the thing with SGA is that he's still a younger guy, but he's a phenomenal scorer. And again, it's no shade to SGA. I just think he trends into the Dame area when it comes to, can you lead a team or can you not lead a team? Like I don't think that SGA, can take OKC the promised land on his own. But at the same time, I don't think that SGA is good enough, and there are very few who are, to make all the guys around him better. Is he damn good in the mid-range? Is he damn good at breaking you off? Can he get to the line with the best of them? Yes. He is absolutely a complete savage at scoring the basketball. He is. And I love watching the guy play. But I think if you're OKC, what you're trying to figure out is, okay, whose team is this? Because on some nights, Giddey is the guy. On other nights, SGA is the guy. And I think that, I look at OKC, and they're that team that can beat anybody, but tends to let you down more than they prove themselves. So it's like, all right, well, who am I gonna move? Because frankly, Chet Holmgren got hurt too early, so now he hasn't had a chance to prove himself.
Totally agree.
So you're not moving him. You got to see what you got in him. You know what you have in SGA. The league knows what you have in SGA. And frankly, this conversation that we had earlier in the week about Austin Reeves versus Josh Giddey, I think is super pertinent. Like, you can begin to see how these guys would be direct comparables in the trade market. So that's why I say, like, when the offseason gets here for OKC, like, who do you think is going to make better decisions in the offseason? The front office in OKC or a guy like Danny Ainge? Because I don't feel like OKC has this path that they're on. I feel like OKC has compiled a bunch of talent, but we got to herd the sheep a little bit. We got to have,
we got to herd,
you know what
the
I mean?
sheep
Like, you
a
have
little
all this
bit.
talent, like Houston. Houston has all this talent.
Yes.
And they can score, but they don't win. And they need some direction. And that's why I feel like the Jazz, even though they don't have as much talent as some of these other organizations right now, they have the leadership and they have that funnel that I think ultimately takes them on a faster track to winning than some of these other organizations.
Yep. Welcome back, TryDayTrading.com, to the Monty Show. $10 is all it takes to change your life. And I know we talk about this a lot on the show. We're big believers in working for yourself. We're big believers that the tax system is set up to be an entrepreneur. And we're big believers that if you're drawing a paycheck, you're on the clock. And with all the layoffs, with all the economy, with all of the financial strife and struggle in this world right now, there has never been a better time to get into the market and become a prolific day trader with the guys at Try Day Trading. Again, they have set up a program for Monty Show viewers where you can pay $10 and you get a 30-day membership. You get a 30-day tryout. You want to work with them. You want to figure out if it, a lot of people say, hey, can you really make thousands of dollars a day? Yeah, you can. Hey, I hate my boss. TryDayTrading.com.
Yeah.
Hey, I hate my job. TryDayTrading.com. Hey, I'm tired of working 12-hour days. TryDayTrading.com.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you're hearing my voice. Australia, Europe. I know we have a ton of Philippines listeners. It doesn't matter. Anywhere you are, TryDayTrading.com.
Yes.
They have a box right in the middle of the page that talks about a 10-day membership, a $10 membership for 30 days. They give that entirety of that $10 goes right to charity. So they're legit giving you a charitable donation, you're a tax write-off, and you get a 30-day trial run with TryDayTrading.com. No strings attached. You're not happy with it. It's not a fit for you. Hey, you gave it a shot.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you can't keep complaining about what a dick your boss is. You can't keep complaining about how worried you are about your layoff. You can't keep complaining about the fact you just got laid off unless you're going to do something about it. Stop talking about making your life better. Go to TryDayTrading.com. Mm-hmm. Stop talking about finding a new job. Go to TryDayTrading.com. 24 hours a day, it fits in your schedule. You work at home and you're like, man, I wish I could spend more time with my family. Be at home full time. You want to be at home full time? Great. You want to do it part time? There are people who do day trading part time. They went through the Tri-Day program. They're part-time day traders. They're making hundreds of dollars a day today. And I say this all the time. Ask yourself this question. How much money did you make today? How much did you make today? Did you make hundreds or thousands? TryDayTrading.com.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple. All you have to do is click on the $10 trial. It is absolutely no strings attached. Takes 20 seconds to fill out the form. Click Monty Show at the bottom. Hey, how'd you hear about us? Drop it down. Click the Monty Show.
Yes.
Done. You're in.
Boom.
For $10. And it's a tax write-off at the end of the day. And you're going to start day trading, and you're going to spend Tri-Day Trading's money. And when you make money with their money, you get up to 80% of the profit from the money you made with their money.
Yes.
I'm telling you, man, there's never been a better time to get to TryDayTrading.com. We love those guys. I love it. Jeremy Callahan says you can quit your job and do a ranch bump.
That's right.
TryDayTrading.com.
Please.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Max Fisher says, will Sammy Sosa ever be black again?
What are you doing?
Well,
what are you doing, dude?
I mean, what he's doing is exposing himself. So, yeah, it's fine. Can't do that because I guarantee you YouTube will filter you. D-Rock says, too much talking. Do it. Exactly right.
Yeah, dude.
Don't talk. Do it.
By the way, D-Rock, how you not a member, bro?
Yeah,
how you not a member,
how
dude?
are you not
You've
a
been
member?
listening to the show for a minute now.
We've had 70 memberships given away today.
Yeah, come on.
How are you not a member?
Yeah,
if
dude.
you're not a member, you're trying to avoid it.
Yeah, come on.
You are trying to avoid it.
Yeah.
If you are not a member, you're trying to avoid it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, make sure you hit the like button. We've had 3,000 views today, only 250 like. Let's get on it. Brent Burnett says the X factor for the Jazz is Danny Ainge. Totally agree.
Yeah,
Everybody's trying to
get Anged.
Everybody's trying to figure out who to credit for the Jazz. It's Danny Ainge.
Yeah.
Great. The coach did a good job. Who hired him? Hey, man, these young players, who acquired them?
I'm for real.
Who put them together? Who's got all the assets? Danny Ainge.
Yeah.
And by extension, Ryan Smith. But we all want to credit players, man. I'm telling you. You got to put them together. You absolutely got to put them together. Skinny Dick Nick says, damn, look at all these members. That's what I'm saying, Skinny
Let's go,
Dick.
dude.
Where you at, man? I'm telling you guys,
Get in here, dude.
It is super easy. We created new membership tiers for this exact purpose. There's so many people who told us, hey, I can't afford the $10 a month. TryDayTrading.com.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, we now have a $1.99 membership that just allows you to have your comment read because we read our member comments before anything else. You know, Mike M says ranch dressing futures is where it's at.
That's right.
TryDayTrading.com. You know.
Yeah.
I love ranch dressing. I am what I am. Shart says, and Jazz is a band. Could be. Could be. Tanner Plummer, you also need a voice on the floor. It doesn't just come down to the coach. I don't disagree with that. But I also think Jordan Clarkson's not going to be on this team.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, the question is, who's the point guard of the future? Because it's not Colin Sexton.
No.
I don't think he's a starting point guard. I think he's a bench player.
I think Chris Dunn's been better for you than Colin Sexton.
I don't disagree. Colin, next year is going to be the telltale for Colin.
Yeah.
You're coming off of a major injury. This year you've been banged up a ton. Let's figure out what it looks like for you.
Yeah.
Right? So I think Chris Dunn's earned a training camp contract.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. He can absolutely be a player in this league.
You need him to come back on a training camp deal, earn a spot on the roster, and then you sign him.
I think he will get a better deal from somebody else.
Maybe.
That's what I worry about with Chris Dunn because I think he's earned it. I think he's absolutely earned it. There's no doubt about it. Let's see. Tad Schroeder. I read the meeting Washington canceled and rescheduled for tomorrow. I don't believe that's the case. But hey, who knows? Brent Burnett. Coach is more important, but yes, the players still need to execute. Even when I played ball, they coached bench until I followed the coach's plan. That ain't rocket science. Jeremy Callahan. Danny Ainge would totally do a ranch bong at center court.
Please.
At center court. No new membership for anyone who doesn't like blue cheese. Just the opposite.
Yeah, sorry, dude.
Just the opposite. Just the opposite. Let's see. D-Rock Irish says, in and out, have over 30 different podcasts to cover. No avoidance here, jumping in and out. No, I appreciate you, D-Rock.
Yeah, you good, bro.
Always good to see you. Arlington Bear says, way more than 70. My count has it at 81.
Just today?
Is that true?
Okay, now I need to check.
That's crazy.
Now I got to check.
That's craziness.
That's definitely a new record if that's true.
You know. Darren Ingram says Chris Dunn is legit and not a lot of miles, to be honest. He's not. He's not. I agree. The Great Dane. I'm pretty sure we need to go shop in Houston and buy some of their talent. Well, did you guys see Carlos Boozer's kid won the Gatorade Player of the Year?
Did he?
As a sophomore in high school.
Wow.
And what does he do all summer long? He plays the Pro-Am circuit. So he plays against guys like, Beasley. He plays against guys, like he plays the Pro-Am circuit. And he holds his own. And he's a dominant player. He's a dominant player. So, Tanner Plummer. Could THT be a point guard? I think he can, but I could be wrong. He is a point guard. He's just not, he hasn't developed into a consistent performer. And if you're not a consistent performer, I don't know where you fit on this club.
Mm-hmm.
That's the single biggest issue.
Yeah.
Let's see. Not avoiding it, just don't have Twitter or Instagram. That's all. No, I got you, man.
Well, you don't need, just so you know, I just want to clarify. I'm trying to pressure you to do anything you don't want to do. The $1.99 doesn't get you Instagram. So you can be a member without the Instagram, just so you know.
That's what I'm saying.
But it's all good either way.
40 likes away from 300.
That'd be a new record.
Can we get to 300? Well, I think our all-time record's like 5-something on the Rudy Gobert trade day.
Oh.
When everybody showed up, it's like, you guys are amazing. Yeah, we are amazing.
As if we hadn't been saying since they signed him to the extension that they'd trade him.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Kenai says, Nunn is doing good for the Jazz as a point guard. Dunn. Yes, he is. Dunn is better than THT. I'm not even sure it's a conversation.
Yeah, he's a better leader than THT for sure.
Tanner Plummer says, I wouldn't mind another boozer for the Jazz. This kid's legit. And I'm telling you, man, if you have not seen Cameron Boozer, go find him. Because that kid's a stud.
Boozer.
Russell Smith says, you guys make me want to move back to Provo. You
hey, man,
should.
do it. Do it.
Utah's amazing. Don't move here.
Big 12's in Provo now. I don't know if you know that or not.
Big 12 isn't. Well, why would you do that? Darren Ingram. I think THT has made massive steps in the right direction. Not enough, but the speed of his development has been good. I love that he's aggressive.
Yeah.
He's good for 3 to 5 minutes at a time.
He's getting better at being physical on the finish.
When you expose him in long stretches, he turns into a 4A player, man. Like, he's that guy who's good but not good enough.
Yeah.
He would dominate the G League, so there's no point. But he has this ability to just piss you off.
Yeah.
Because he turns the ball over, takes bad shots, won't make the extra pass.
That's an issue.
Gets running downhill and absolutely blows a dude up in the paint for a charge.
It's ridiculous.
And there's just no excuse for it. You know, like it's just, yeah, I agree with that. The Great Dane says THT seems like a more out of control Kelly Olynyk at the point.
Yeah.
He does.
Kelly Olynyk at the point.
And I'm not saying that Talon Horton-Tucker hasn't improved. But he's not a guy you can count on. He's not. I guess the question is, do you trust him? And my point is, no, I don't. I don't trust him.
Yeah.
I don't. Utah Jizz says, I'm a boozer. Okay. Brent Burnett says, Doke. Played a perfect game. Monty is smoking now. If Udoka Azubuike is ever a starter in this league, I will shave my balls. I don't know.
Can you do something?
You can't tell me it was one game. You can't tell me that Udoka Azubuike is ever a consistent contributor on an NBA roster.
Way,
I just don't buy it.
Go play intramurals, brother.
I don't buy it.
Yeah, no way.
I'm just not. I'm not here for that. Mike Chase says, my son's junior jazz team is sending us to the game tonight. Let's go.
There you go.
Let's go. That's awesome. I love that. Where do you guys come down on? Does the NBA need plays like Donovan Mitchell last night? Did you guys see that dunk last night?
Dude.
My God. I think this is what the NBA needs. Like, this is what sells seats.
Yes, dude. Yes.
And I think Donovan Mitchell, he drops 31 last night, a sham god, and a poster.
The sham god was too smooth.
And
dude.
Watanabe can jump out of the gym.
Yeah.
And Donovan he didn't jump over him. He powered through him.
Yeah.
And I think it was a dunk of the year. And then Paul George did his 360. How about that Paul George?
A rack attack.
God damn. That Paul George injury, oh my God.
He's lucky it's just a sprain.
He's out a minimum of 2 weeks with a knee sprain.
Yeah.
I'm not showing the picture of the injury because I just don't ever need to see that again. But your knee is not supposed to bend backwards like that.
No, it's not.
Like that was
it's not only, dude. It's the worst thing. It's one of the worst things you can have in basketball. I mean,
my God.
Like it's not worse than tearing something, but I think that it's a very ugly injury.
Dude, I'm telling you. No,
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good.
I don't know, man. That was terrible.
Yeah.
And you feel awful for Paul George because he had a 360 dunk. He looked explosive. He was actually playing really good ball last night. And if he stays in the game, they win. But he ran into Lou Dort, and then Lou Dort locked up Kawhi Leonard. And OKC winds up winning the game on stellar defense.
Yeah.
But, man, the Clippers can't catch a break, dude.
Hey, come on.
And I know we've talked about this on this show ad nauseum.
Yeah.
You can't buy championships, I don't believe.
Nope. You gotta have chemistry, dude. You got to have that intangible thing.
I think you have got to find a way, and this is just my opinion. You've got to find a way. And this is what's so frustrating about OKC, by the way. You have all that talent, and I know Chet's hurt, and I'm good with that. But is Josh Giddey ever a number one? He just isn't. Is SGA a number one? I don't know.
Potentially.
but it feels like that team's missing an alpha. You've drafted all this talent. Now go spend money and get an alpha.
Yeah, I like SGA as a number 2 on a championship team.
Because I think they're really close.
Yeah.
James Knight has me watching OKC basketball more. I'm telling you, they're close. The problem is I don't think Josh Giddey he's Austin Reeves, in my opinion. He's good. He's not great. SGA is a number 2. You need to go get a killer. You need a number 1 on that team. Yeah. You put a number 1 on that team, and I'm telling you, they're a top 5 team. Man, I thought I dropped my microphone right there. They're a top 5 team, I'm telling you.
So you done pissed James off now.
Did I? I don't know. Let's see. Jet Wayman, the Towel King of Utah, says Paul George is out for the regular season, in my opinion.
Probably. Yeah.
Has to be. Drothman says a shaved ball is a saved ball. Could be.
Please.
James Knight says OKC 8 of the last 10. Take note.
Look, scroll down now at the bottom.
Hater. Wait, scroll down at the bottom.
Right there.
Right there. SGA is a superstar. Stop. No, he is a superstar. He's not a number 1.
Yeah.
Paul George is a superstar. He's not a number 1. He's not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's they're
you
really.
You can just see the number 1s in the league, dude. They're not. It's not. Yeah.
Is there really something to? Is there really something to? I don't know about that. Are we really gonna? Is SGA like? Is he a Giannis? Is he
No.
Is he an Embiid? Is he
SGA or Jaylen Brown?
SGA. Again. I will just keep telling you. I am not a guy. I am not a guy that is. How do I say this? I am not a guy that likes Jaylen Brown because I think his attitude prevents him from being a better player.
Mm-hmm.
SGA, I think, is
Zach LaVine.
SGA, because I don't trust Zach LaVine to be healthy. Then again, SGA's missed a ton of time too.
SGA or Jordan Poole?
Oh, SGA. The question is SGA or Steph Curry. Steph Curry.
Nah, I think that's I don't think he's in
SGA or Devin Booker. I'm taking Devin Booker. SGA or Luka. I'm taking Luka. Like he is in that SGA or Donovan Mitchell. I'm taking Donovan Mitchell.
Uh-huh.
I like Shea, but I think he's just a guy.
SGA or Cade Cunningham.
SGA.
Yeah.
Cade Cunningham hasn't played this year, so I don't know what he's going to be.
Yeah.
Paolo Banchero. I might take Paolo Banchero.
Size is all I would say with Paolo. I mean, he can bang with the bigs, dude.
Yeah,
That's tough.
I mean, I think SGA is a really good player. He's just not that guy.
I don't think it's disrespectful to SGA to say he's not a number 1. I think that SGA is a hell of a player. I think that he can be the guy that takes the last shot, like a game-winning shot or whatever. But I think it's tough. Like, I don't think there's a lot of guys left in the league who can carry your team good. Like, legit, no. I think it's Bron, Kevin Durant, Giannis.
I'd agree with that.
Like, it's those couple of guys. Like, Steph, I think last year against Boston showed he can carry them on his own. Like, there's very few.
What is the upside development? What's the development arc? Like, Josh Giddey's so young that he's got an upper end. But right now, today, he's a role player. I think on a championship team, he's not going to be one of your would he start on Boston?
Josh Giddey?
Yeah. No, he would not start on Boston. Because are you
Grant Williams is starting on Boston. I might consider that. Grant Williams or Giddey?
No, you got to play Grant Williams.
Well,
I think Grant Williams is just more polished. He's been through the battle.
Yeah.
I think, does Josh Giddey start on the Lakers? Yeah, absolutely he does. Does he start on the Clippers? Probably not, because their 2, 3, 4s are really good.
You're taking Man over Giddey?
No. But I'm not giving Josh Giddey a one. He's a 3-4 guy to me.
Yeah?
Josh Giddey. I'm not starting him over Kawhi or Paul George.
Well, no, of course not.
Right? No, You're not. So, I look at these teams. Does he start on Golden State? No, he doesn't. Does he start on, I don't know, he starts on the Bulls. Does he start on the Knicks?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Okay, well, but who's he going to start? Are you starting him or RJ Barrett? Because RJ Barrett's the guy there. I'm starting RJ Barrett.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. Yeah.
What does Josh Giddey do better than RJ Barrett? He's more physical. He's willing to get his nose dirty.
Yeah, I think he's a more reliable scorer. I mean, what are his?
No, come on. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of R.J. Barrett. But R.J. Barrett is a guy. Now you're going to go make me defend R.J.
Barrett's not like lighting it up, dude.
He's 20 points a game, 5 boards, 3 assists a game. I'm taking that. I think the biggest issue is that RJ, he has games like he had against Minnesota. But then again, why is that? Because Julius is going off like a fool.
Yeah.
Right? But you look at his numbers, he's pretty reliably 20 points a game.
Season average is 19.8.
I think it's very difficult to take RJ Barrett out of that starting 5 for Josh Giddey. Like Minnesota, does Josh Giddey start on Minnesota? And by the way, Minnesota's getting Karl Anthony Towns back tonight. And so now we're back to Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns on the floor together. And I don't know how you do that. But you look at who they're starting with, Taurean Prince or Josh Giddey at the 4. Well, you're probably not starting Taurean Prince or Josh Giddey because Karl Anthony Towns is going to play the 4.
Yeah, good luck, right?
Okay, so who's their 3? Right? Like McDaniels or Josh Giddey? I think that's close. I think that's close. I think that's a place.
McDaniels has been hot lately.
He has, but I'm going to start Giddey over Kyle Anderson. That's tough.
Yeah, I might take Giddey over Anderson. Yeah.
I think it's tough. He's young. He's never been tested. He's on a team that it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter what you do. And he's not a 20-point-a-night guy. R.J. Barrett's a more polished scorer than Josh Giddey is right now today. A year from now, if Josh Giddey has a summer, the guy's going to explode. Yeah. If Josh Giddey gets an alpha dog on that team, if he gets an outright dog on that team, he's going to explode. Josh Giddey's upside is massive. Massive.
Yeah.
And it's not a slight that he's not starting.
I'm not an R.J. Barrett guy. Josh Giddey's only averaging 16 a night. R.J.'s outperforming him, but I like Giddey's game more.
And Darren's got a really good point. Poole is overhyped. I totally agree with that.
Dude, I'm telling you, he's young, but he's more talented than any of the guys we're talking about.
You know what the fucking problem with Poole is? His attitude is terrible.
Yeah,
Jordan Poole's favorite player is Jordan Poole.
That might be true. Do you want his favorite player to be someone else, though?
Yeah, I do. I want his favorite player to be Steph Curry. I want his favorite player. The thing that I don't like about Poole is you got punched in the face and you haven't used it. You haven't been better. He has had very few dominant performances this year. But I just look at Jordan Poole. I know what that guy is, and I feel like he's a pain in the ass.
He's better than R.J. Barrett. He's 20 points a night.
Fuck yeah, he is. He's absolutely better.
You're saying yeah, he is, and then you're saying Josh Giddey's not close. Like these.
No. Listen. I'm talking about Jordan Poole specifically as a player.
Yeah.
On that team, he should be able to score 20 points with his eyes closed because nobody's paying attention to him depending on the set on the floor, right? The problem is he's not better and he's not more effective because he believes he's the best player in the world and he's not. That's Jordan Poole's attitude is Jordan Poole's problem. Would I take him over Josh Giddey? Yes. Would I take him over R.J. Barrett? Yes. But I'm not a Jordan Poole guy.